you guys were on the money, especially with the Chris Weidman incident. I saw it. I thought there were legal knees from the jump.
Well, it's hard for Miragliotta. Really, here's two reasons why it's hard for Miragliotta. First of all, he's a giant. Like, you have to understand, Dan Miragliotta is like 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a huge man. I mean, he's fucking huge. Like, he towers over most of the fighters. And so he's above these guys. And if Mousasi is pinning down Weidman, so he's got him in a headlock, right? And he's pulling him down, and he's kneeing him in the face like he was. Think of how tall Miragliotta is in the first place, right? Like this. Now think he's looking down at these guys kneeing each other in the head. And he's got to stay close by in case something happens. There's no way he could see those hands from where he was standing. So he took an educated guess based on his many, many years of refereeing that both hands were down. And it was so close. You would have to be on the other side of the ring looking at the ground to know whether or not it was touching. If you're above it, the way Miragliotta was, how could he know? He really couldn't know. And it's not his fault. He's an excellent referee. No, the fault is that the Athletic Commission, under situations like this, doesn't use an instant replay. And they should, because it's the fair thing to do, to make sure that the fight it's fair. And I think Weidman could have gone on. I think had there been a question whether or not it was legal, they could look at the instant replay, and then they make the call. The strikes are legal, we're going to continue. And you either continue them from the exact same position and say, ready, go, or you have a protocol in place. Like, you have to separate them, go back to your corners, and re-engage, which is bad for Mousasi, because Mousasi had him in a good position and was landing strikes. So it's impossible for Dan Miragliotta to be absolutely certain from where he was standing, as big as he is, looking down like that. I would just imagine it probably looked like Weidman's hands were touching. When we saw it in the replay, I asked them to show me different angles. Different angles, yes. I'm like, because at the first they said, look, it looks like it's illegal. And then I said, I don't see his fingers. I want to see his fingers. Let me see his fingers. And then when we went to one where you see his fingers, you could see Mousasi lift him up, which is what you're supposed to do. So the only reason why Weidman had his hands down like that is because he thought that could prevent him from getting hit. He didn't have his hands down like that because it's an offensive gesture. He's not like putting his hands down there because it's a next move. You know, what he's doing is he's dealing with the fact that Mousasi has his neck. He's dealing with the fact that he's getting kneed in the head, and he's thinking the best way to stop it is to put my two hands down. Because, like, that's not a position that you would ever be in if you were trying to hurt somebody, right? So what he's trying to do is he's trying to stop the knees or figure out what to do and catch his mind, because he's been tagged a few times in this round. He got hurt, and those two knees hit him hard. And then the referee tells him it's an illegal knee, so he's like, okay, well, let me take this time to take a break. I deserve it. I got hit with an illegal knee. So in his eyes, he's doing what you're supposed to do if somebody fouls you. In his eyes, I got fouled. He doesn't know. He got hit with two fucking hard knees, right? They tell him it was illegal. He thinks it's illegal. So he goes on about it like it's illegal. So he sits down. Then the doctors come over and examine him. And then someone tells him, I believe it was John McCarthy, tells Dan Miragliotta that it was a legal knee. He's like, it was legal. I just watched the replay and he shows it to Dan. There's nothing Dan can do now. We've showed the replay over and over now to the people that were watching on pay-per-view, and we're like, they're legal. These knees are legal. This is just a mistake. And so then they don't know what to do. They don't really have a protocol in place, so they stop the fight. And they give a TKO victory to Gegard Mousasi, which is crazy, because Dan was in no way going to stop the fight right there. Like, it wasn't like Weidman was getting hit so hard. He was right about to stop it, and then they said, oh, those knees are illegal. They weren't illegal. But I was going to stop it anyway, so let's stop the fight. It's not that. No, it's the fight was going on, and it was stopped just because of a mistake by the commission, that they didn't understand. They didn't have a good protocol in place to start a fight up, and they don't have a protocol in place to check an instant replay under really, really difficult to discern violations like this, because it's really hard for me, a professional commentator who's right next to the cage. I'm right there, dude. I'm touching the floor where the cage is on, and I can't figure out if it's legal or not. I have to watch the replay. So Dan, in the heat of the moment, I mean, he's watching two of the best 185-pounders in the world, right? Gegard Mousasi's tagging Weidman. Weidman keeps taking him down. It's a fucking battle, man. It's a battle. It's a battle between two world-class fighters. And Weidman's got hard. He could have come back from that. He's taking those hard knees. Who knows what he would have done? He might have pulled guard and pulled Mousasi on top of him and got the sweep, and the round goes up. Look what just happened with Darren Elkins and that crazy comeback that he had. Did you see that fight that he had? Jesus Christ. Mirsad Bektik, who's this fucking super high-level up-and-coming guy.
This was this weekend?
No, this was like two.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, he took the beating to the death.
The beating of his life to the third round, then he knocks the guy out. And it was, the world erupted, right?
Yeah, the place went bananas.
A guy like Weidman is just like a guy like Darren Elkins. He can come back from the dead. You might stop him. I mean, Darren Elkins been stopped. Chad Mendez fucked him up. But he might fuck you up in the third round, too. So you got to give a champion like Weidman the benefit of the doubt. So the problem, I don't believe that it was Dan Mergliata's fault. I think Dan thought he was doing the right thing, and his mindset is to protect the fighters at all time. If it's an illegal knee, he's got to step in. I just think it was so close, it was hard to tell. And then in the heat of this exchange, it's all crazy, and it's a very high-level fight, and it's super important, and it's in New York, and so when the commission didn't know what the fuck to do, that's when it became a problem. That's when I wish somebody was there. Like what I would have done, I would have said, don't stop the fight because the fight wasn't going to be stopped. Let's restart the fight from the position that it's in right there. Where you going? Oh, you need some air? So,
I wouldn't have stopped the fight either.
It wasn't his decision to stop the fight. It was the commission's decision, I'm pretty sure. And I think it was just because they didn't know what else to do. I think they just didn't know, they didn't have a thing to do in place. It's hard. It takes a while to figure out how to correctly referee and judge and officiate in a state athletic commission that hasn't had mixed martial arts before, and all of a sudden they have it. So you don't have a lot of experienced referees. The referees are going to have to come from other places, guys like Big John or Dan Mergliata. And then the commission, unfortunately, even though the referees were in place that were really high level, there's a commission that's really not used to doing this, and it's not their fault. They just don't have the experience. Nevada State has it down. California has it down. Andy Foster in California, he might be the best guy in the business. He's a former fighter, a lifelong martial artist, super smart guy, and he's on the ball with everything. With weight cutting, he's on the ball with drugs. He's on the ball with, he wants to have more weight classes. He wants a weight class every 10 pounds. He wants to do hydration tests on fighters and keep them from doing this. He wants to prevent them from doing this.
Now, do they have instant replay in California and Nevada? Is that?
Yes, I do believe they have it in Nevada. I do not know if they have it in California. Actually, can you look that up? Find out what states have instant replay.
I think they added it today in New Jersey.
I'm treating you like you're Jamie, and I apologize for that. I give an instinct to just ask someone to Google.
I think they added it today in New Jersey. Something happened in New Jersey.
They should do it everywhere. There's no reason to not have it. There's no reason to not have an instant replay, just in case. If there seems like there's some sort of a foul, if it's an eye poke, if it's a groin shot, like if you can't look at an instant replay, how can you tell? And there have definitely been fights where people have lost, where they probably should have, their opponent should have been disqualified, like where they got kicked low, and it didn't look like it got kicked low to the referee, and they stopped the fight. That has happened before. That happened with James Krause when he fought Bobby Green on a military base, one of those fight for the troops, and he got hit with a low shot and then another one. He might have got hit with 3, but he definitely got hit with 2. And the last one was a shin right across the cup. I mean, you could hear it crack. It wasn't an intentional shot. It's just one guy's really tall, one guy's not as tall. Neither guys are dirty fighters. They're both honorable fighters. It's just an accidental foul. It just happens, man. But when it happens, I mean, look, like, it's not, no one's trying to kick somebody in the balls most of the time. Most of the time, a guy's trying to kick the leg, and he just misses. Like, you can't kick everything you aim at, otherwise you'd just be lighting each other up. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's hard to hit people. So, like, that's why Anderson Silva kicked Chris Weidman's knee like that. He didn't want to. He wanted to hit him on the inside of the leg, but Weidman got his leg up in time and then smash, his fucking shin bone snaps in half. That just shows you one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. My idea is like him and Fedor, the two greatest fighters that have ever walked the face of the planet. I give Anderson a nod, but it's probably a lot of it because I experienced him live in person. Maybe if I experienced Fedor in person, I would give him the nod, or maybe just call it a draw, you know? But even he couldn't stop from breaking bones by hitting the wrong things. Fedor broke his hand a couple of times. Anderson broke his leg. They all broke. Everybody misses. You can't. So getting upset at somebody for kicking somebody in the nuts, they don't mean to kick them in the nuts for the most part. You know, I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but most of the time it's an accident.
But I throw a leg kick, you move back 3 inches. It's that fucking
Or
easy.
He's throwing a kick at the same time you're throwing a kick. That's more likely. I just kick guys in the balls all the time accidentally because I was short. because I was fighting guys who were tall, and I was 5'8", and these guys were like 6'2". We both kick at the same time. I'd kick them right in the nuts accidentally. Just happened. Just like if you're super aggressive, you're not allowing someone like openings. You just try to attack all the time. There's a lot of collisions. You know, when you have collisions, anything can happen. Like one guy kicks the same time you're kicking, it's whoever gets there first. Whoever gets there first, whoever gets past, you know, knees and shins, and whoever sneaks it in there. It's just unfortunate for Weidman, unfortunate for Mousasi, unfortunate for the whole division.
No rematch.
I don't know if they will. Who knows? There might be a reason why one of them gets a shot at the title.
Mousasi,
or why Mousasi does. Yeah. See, Mousasi is one of the best fighters in the world, but he's lost a few times. I mean, guys have beaten him. Jacare manhandled him pretty recently. He submitted him. He just got him on the ground and went through him. He's a goddamn shark. Jacare is a fucking shark, man. He gets you on the ground.
Mousasi. He still has...
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong.
He still could turn this around. You know, he's 31.
Well, Uriah Hall knocked him out, too. No, listen, I'm saying he's a bad motherfucker. Do not get me wrong. I'm not diminishing his abilities. I'm his biggest fan. I think Mousasi's a cool customer. He goes in there deadpan, doesn't give a fuck.
How many fights has he had?
Lights up anybody. He's had 50 professional fights. This weekend was his 50th professional fight. Yeah.
He was fucking like...
Cool as a cucumber. Super respectful. You know, he's very respectful of Chris Weidman, but said it like he felt it. You know, it's like, look, he said about Weidman, he goes, Weidman was game in the system. He was trying to not get kneed in the head. That's why he put his hands down there. He didn't put his hands down there to fight. He was trying to get out of it. And then when he got hit with the illegal knee, he acted like he couldn't go on. He was hoping that they were going to stop the fight. That's Mousasi's take on it. So the whole thing is, it's unfortunate.
Very interesting.
But Mousasi's a bad motherfucker. You see how good a striker he is in that fight. You realize, like, wow.
Listen, he took him down, but he kept getting up. And even in the scramble, when he mounted him, he fucking sluck out the back door. Yep. I was really impressed. He did his homework. So I thought it was all starting to come together from Mousasi. Like, I really thought...
So we'll see the difference between Weidman, who's a really high-level submission artist. He's real high-level. I mean, he's a bad motherfucker, and his ground and pound is excellent. He's just really world-class with his wrestling and his ground and pound. And then there's another level of the matrix removed, and that's guys like Damian Maia. That's guys who just constrict. They get people like Carlos Condit and just constrict them, where they don't even have a chance. Do you see Oliveira versus Will?
Oh my God.
Will Brooks this weekend?
Yeah.
Same shit.
Same shit.
Same shit. I was saying before the fight, I was like, Oliveira has a super technical ground game. Like, he gets submissions in all sorts of different ways. Calf slicers, rear naked chokes, guillotines. He gets you on the ground. You're in a world of shit. He's a bad motherfucker. And the same way he submitted that guy with a standing rear naked, he did that to Efrain Escudero in his UFC debut.